Hello everyone. So these are our learning objectives today. We are going to learn how to do quality checks using the ID editor, and we are learning how to ensure that roads are well connected within a wider network and how to identify and choose less densely populated areas for beginner mappers. So I'll start with how to check for different data quality issues using the ID editor. So the ID editor contains a checking feature which shows potential problems with any area that you are viewing. So if you're mapping a task or a square on the hot tasking manager, you may wish to check for potential errors for everything and within your view, so that you are able to check if there are any existing problems to be cleared before you begin your own mapping. So another thing to note, you need to be careful. Most times or sometimes ID highlights issues that are not located within your selected task. That's the pink boundary, as I will illustrate. So I've already selected a task on the hot tasking manager, and this is how it looks like. So to be able to check for the different data quality issues, you click on this triangle icon. On it, it has the word issues. Relatively, on your keyboard, you can press I. So when I click on it, I'll have this display. So we have different data quality issues that it queries. For instance, almost junction, crossing ways, disconnected ways, etc. As you can see. Then up here, we have the different warnings that are flagged. And then this is how we check for the different issues. You can check your own personal edits. You realize that I haven't done any editing yet. So that's why it's saying there are no edits yet. I have no edits yet. So there's nothing that it can check on my personal edits. And then you can check everyone's edits. So already it has flagged for me. There are some, I could call this hanging road, a road that's not connected. And then I could also call, yes, it has also flagged crossing buildings. So what this does, it's flagging any mapper's work that has any data quality issues within my view. So you remember when you run a task on the ID editor, it downloads for you area as per your own view. Like whenever you download it or you zoom to it, it will download for you that area, even if it's beyond your task or your pink boundary. This is the pink boundary I'm talking about. So another way is everything, everywhere. So it's going to query for me different data quality issues within my view everywhere. Yeah. So for illustration, let me just click on one and I will zoom in and realize it's beyond my task. So I would have to ignore this to avoid conflicts. So just in case someone else is working on this area and I'm also working on that particular feature, it may bring conflicts. So what I'll do, I will ignore that. So I'll click on the other one. Still, it's outside my boundary, as you can see. So if these errors were inside my tasks, this is how I would fix them. So let me just click on one for demonstration. There. So what I would do is, remember, this is the area, it's crossing each other. These two buildings are overlapping each other. So I'll just select it and right click, and then I will disconnect it from this other one, and then I'll be able to move it by right clicking, still move, and I can move it away from that one. And remember, it's also overlapping this one, so I would have to zoom in well and just select the node and move it away from this other building and square it probably. Okay. Right, so I move still, it's still overlapping this upper one. So I select the node and move it away. So this is how I would fix this. Okay, so another thing I wanted to mention is the issue plugin or function also enables you to identify, or it warns you while you are mapping if you make any mistakes. For instance, if I'm mapping a building close to a road and I accidentally snap it or overlap it, it would warn me that, hey, you are overlapping the building to the road. I'm looking for one for demonstration here. I don't seem to see one along the road. Okay. So I'll just use this, which is a bit closer. So assuming I was mapping this building, I'll select the line tool and I mapped it like this. Remember, our issue function is on, so it's actually already flagging this building that it doesn't have a descriptive tag, meaning it hasn't been tagged. So I can select it and make sure I'm tagging it as a building. Then, so it brings for me warning that it's crossing, the building is crossing this tertiary road. So I can be able to fix that by just holding onto the node and moving it away from the road. I'll square it and make sure it looks good. Next, I'm going to talk about how you can make sure roads are well connected to a wider network, or how to ensure road connectivity. So remember, roads are used by humanitarian workers during responses. And if they are well connected, it saves a lot of time and resources. So I'm just going to select the line tool, then zoom in to a good extent and just make sure I am connecting the new road that I'm mapping to the already existing main road here, the tertiary road. So I'll click on it and just map out the road like this. I'm just mapping out the road at different corners. Okay. Okay, so when I reach my pink boundary, I'm supposed to map it slightly away from my pink boundary into the next task, yeah? Please avoid mapping it and leaving it like here. Yeah? So why do I map it to the next boundary, away from my boundary? Just this is to ensure that the next person that will continue mapping this road will just pick this and continue with the network. So I'll map it like this. And again, our issue function is on, so it's flagging it that I haven't tagged it. I haven't tagged the line, so I'll select it and come to line, and I'll tag this as a minor road that's unclassified because it's connecting this settlement and it's going up to this side, connecting to these other settlements. So again, remember, while you are tagging roads, remember to refer to the OSM wiki to help you tag the roads properly. So I'm going to select minor roads and then I'll select unclassified and I'm good to go. Another thing is right here. So avoid mapping roads and leaving them hanging like this. So the person using this road may think there's like a dead end here. So in order to fix such a mistake, you just right click on the node. Again, our issue function is inside. It easily identifies for you the issue here. So I'll right click on it and then I say continue and I will zoom in and click there. And you'll be able to have a connection. So this road is connecting to this road, connecting to the other, and it will make movements much easier. So lastly, I'm going to talk about how you can easily identify or choose less densely populated areas, especially for beginner mappers. Yeah. So you probably know that road networks indicates settlements. So the more the networks, the more the settlements. Yeah. So as I zoom in right here, I realize that there are lots of roads networks inside here, implying there is more settlements here. So as I move up, you see the roads are the road networks are kind of reducing as I move. Yeah. So another thing is project managers usually tend to split further the tasks where there is dense population. Yeah, as you can see here, the project tasks have been splitted even further. This is an indication that the area is densely populated. So for beginner mappers, you might have to ignore this area because the area might be a bit complex for you to map. So I'll just move up here where I suppose the population is less, and I check it out using my ID editor. Okay, I was correct. The area is actually less densely populated. As you can see, there's hardly any settlements here. So this is very easy for a beginner mapper to map because the buildings are separate from each other and they are few and they can easily be identified. So I want to stop this and I select the other area just for comparison. Okay, so I'm just zooming in and panning through until I reach here. So I'm selecting one of these and I'm still running it using my ID editor. And yes, the place is densely populated. So as a beginner mapper, you can actually exit out of this task by clicking on no and submit. And that's it. Yeah. Thank you so much and happy mapping.